The starting point in human design is your energy type. We're actually all built to function very differently, with different skills and different ways that our energy works. So we need to align with that rather than do things the way that the world tells us we need to do things. When we do, we create success and happiness with so much more ease. And it's more enjoyable because it's the way our souls actually crave doing life. Your energy type tells you how you're built to operate, and it's arguably the most important aspect of your design. Your energy type is what we call a generator. Let's get into what that means. A generator's purpose is to create good energy in the world. As the name suggests, you're here to generate energy. Whenever you do something that makes you happy, excited, and lit up, you create so much good energy that it literally spills out of you and into everyone around you. Being lit up is your highest calling because when you're happy and excited, it inspires, fuels, and lifts everyone else up around you without you even trying. When you're excited, you become full of life. This energy can't help but spill out of you into everything and everyone you come across. This is the magic of a generator. When a generator is lit up, they have such juicy, sparkly energy that everyone wants to be around you, even if they can't explain why. When you're following your desires, you feel like you could go and go all day without feeling tired because you're generating this good energy. This is the universe telling you you're in your flow. Because of this, when a generator does what they love, everyone wins. If you want to live your purpose, do more things that actually excite you and less things that don't. If you want to help others, know that the universe has given you specific passions that you're meant to follow in order to live as your highest version. The things that light you up aren't random. They're specifically exciting to you because you're meant to be doing them. Your lit upness makes other people more energized, excited, productive, and gives them momentum in their own life. So no matter what job title you may have on the outside, the real value you're providing is that you're infusing the world with life force. When you're doing something that you're not so jazzed about, you'll feel drained and tired. This is life's way of trying to prevent you from doing more of it and show you that it's not what you're meant to be spending your time on. The biggest conditioning for generators is the praise you get from others for doing things you don't want to do, perhaps because it benefits them in some way. For example, maybe your parents said well done for going to see your grandma when you didn't really want to as a kid, or your friend relies on your generator energy to help them move home or make a group of people gel together. However, this only backfires because when you're not excited, you don't create that juicy, sparkly energy, which is what they actually really want. Sure, you can go through the motions of helping them move, but it won't have elevated the energy of the situation for either of you. And if you're not excited to do it, it suggests that the universe has a better option for the other person too. Saying no. When you trust that your excitement is divine guidance, it's actually the best thing you can do for everyone involved. When you say no, maybe the other person is meant to find a better person to help them with that, or figure it out themselves and realize they're more capable than they thought, or come up with a more creative solution, or be forced to do things in a new way that actually benefits them more. You never know just how you're helping the situation by saying no, but your excitement or lack thereof will always be leading you to the best outcome. When you want to bring more good things into your life, sometimes the most powerful thing a generator can do is say no more. Saying no clears things off your plate that don't light you up, which creates space in your life for the universe to start sending you more of what does. The universe loves to fill an empty space because you're sending the signal that you want better, and it will rush to come and help you fill it. If you're saying yes to everything, there's no space for the things you truly desire to come into your life. When you're in a place where you want to make changes, you don't have to figure out what new things to do so much as stop keeping yourself busy with things that don't make you happy. The fear of doing nothing. The reason why generators are afraid to start saying no is because of that praise for all the doing they got over the course of their lives. And they're afraid that if they're less busy rushing around, even for a hot second, then good things won't come to them. Life wants to see if you're brave enough to go against these false beliefs and be open to working with your joy and not against it. After removing the no's, you might be less occupied, but trust me, it will only be temporary. Use that open space to look around. Life is happening all around you, and it's full of things that might please and delight you. You couldn't see those when you were busying yourself with things you thought you had to do. But now, you've opened yourself up to start seeing things that the universe has been trying to get you to see all along. How do you know if something excites you? Excitement and desire comes from your gut, which is the most important part of a generator's chart. It's the body part that rules your energy. When something comes your way that's exciting to you, whether that's a meal, a job, or a lover, your energy perks up and expands. You can literally feel it in your gut, in your body, and people around you pick up on that. whether they know it consciously or not. It makes them want to be around you, work with you, buy whatever you're selling, or just hug you. This in turn kicks off a chain of opportunities and synchronicities between you and the world. So you don't actually have to figure out what to do in advance. You just have to activate the process by saying yes to what excites you. Life is constantly sending you things that you might like and want. Your job is to notice the involuntary excitement response within you and then to reach out and take it. Whether that's do it, create it, eat it, use it, play with it, buy it, whatever it is, excitement is always about the action and not about the end result. So make sure you do something because it genuinely excites you, rather than doing it because you think it's the only way to get you an end result that you desire. If you suppress your own happiness because you think you have to in order to get to a certain goal, it will never end well. Because the truth is, it's not your job to think about end results. If you pave the way there with what makes you happy and excited, you'll create the best outcome, even if you don't yet know what that is. Ultimately, the things you love to do are the very things that will lead you right to your dream life, and you just need to trust that. Emotional intuition. Your intuition is emotional, meaning that the right decision for you is always going to be the one that makes you feel happy or content when you think about it. Your emotions are not random. They're the way that the universe specifically tells you the right way to go in any situation in your life. And you can always rely on them to show you what the most aligned option is. Because you're an emotional being, you have to give your body time to fully feel out the situation or opportunity in order to give you the answer. So this means you shouldn't pressure yourself to have the answer right away, but instead wait until you fully felt it out. This is such a different way of living than the way we're taught, which is that you should respond to emails right as they come up, or that it's good if you always have the answer right away. If you try to do that, you will cut yourself off from so much knowledge and wisdom that gets gathered up by your body when you just give yourself a little bit of time. What the emotions mean. If something is good for you, big or small, it will evoke a sweet kind of emotion in your body just by you thinking about it. If you feel neutral about it, that's a sign that it's not quite yet the time to decide. And if it makes you feel low or flat or sad or blue, even if it doesn't make sense to you why, then it's not aligned for you. When you're just starting out listening to your emotions, don't pressure yourself to act on them right out the gate. Just acknowledging them is a huge step in reconnecting and strengthening your communication line with the universe. And when you do, it will speak to you more clearly and loudly, and you will find it easier to follow. When you give your emotions the deciding vote, it eliminates so much of the confusion that dims our own knowing and makes it so difficult to trust ourselves. Clarity unfolds over time. Let's say something comes up that makes you feel super excited. You might want to jump in and say yes in the moment, but I'm sure it's happened to you before where you've been in a super good mood one day and said yes to something, only to wake up the next day and regret the decision. Being in a good mood or a bad mood one day can sway your clarity, so you need to wait until you're in a neutral mood, then come back to the decision and see how it makes you feel. If it makes you smile in that state, in that neutral state, then it's a good decision for sure. Go slow to go fast. By not jumping into commitments prematurely, you'll save yourself a lot of detours, which will also save you time. In your case, slower is definitely faster. So be okay with buying yourself time to get to clarity. The more you do it and own it, the more you'll see that people are actually more okay with it than you thought. You can try these kind of phrases to give your emotions time to get clarity. Let me come back to you on that. Let me sleep on it. Or give me 24 hours. 80% of the time, 24 hours is enough time for you to get clarity. But with bigger or more complex decisions, it can take a bit longer than that. Trust that whenever it comes, that's divine timing at work. Feeling your emotions. Knowing how you feel emotionally can be a challenge at first because we've been taught that emotions are unreliable and that the head is better in charge. But the head only knows logic and what makes sense and what it has already experienced, which closes it off from conceiving of new and better things. But with the emotions, you don't even have to come up with how it all needs to happen. You just need to trust that you always have that emotional signal to rely on. The way you trust is not blind faith. It's not by meditating on it. It's by trying out this new way of doing things and building up enough evidence that it works over time so that eventually it becomes your new automatic process. Your personality is the regal authority figure, also known as a 4-6. The first number describes the way you see yourself, and the second number is the way others see you. It actually serves us to have our own internal world that's not so obvious to others, and an external side of us for the physical world. Let's get into each one and how they come together to form your full personality. 4, the people person. In your mind, your life is oriented and measured by the people in it. You're gifted at bonding with people for this reason and have a sense of who is right for you to spend time with. For you, the saying is really true. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of your relationships. It's through the connections you make that the universe will send you all the opportunities you desire. So the more you create connections that are real and authentic to your essence, the better fit the opportunities will be that come your way. Don't entertain relationships that don't align with you, as everything that comes through them will only pull you off your path rather than closer to it. Don't be afraid to be a little closed off or disinterested in those that you don't resonate with. The people you love, you really love, and the rest you can easily go without. It's not that they're bad people, they're just not right for you, and you're not designed to spend time with just anybody. Once you start to honor that and don't judge it as being closed, all the support and opportunities you're designed to have in life will come to you. Who you enjoy hanging around is who you're meant to hang around. It's not by accident. So don't question why you're drawn to some and not to others. A huge milestone in your life comes when you really feel like you found your people. And since you already know the social situations you're meant for, don't judge yourself for being inflexible when a social situation doesn't appeal to you. 6, the wise sage. The sage is someone who's born with innate wisdom. You come into this world already wise to life. But for your first 30 years, your connection to your inner wisdom takes a back seat as you try to establish yourself, your goals, and your direction in life. You experiment with putting your energy into lots of different places, people, and opportunities, and this is an important process. But as you come to the end of your 20s, you usually want to be more selective about what you put your energy into because you know what will reap the rewards you want and what won't. You start to want to make things feel a little bit more peaceful and settled for yourself, keeping all the good parts of life that you acquired and getting rid of the rest, which is now just noise to you that pulls you out of yourself. It's usually at this time in your life that you realize, wow, I actually am really wise and intuitive, and I don't need to look outside of myself so much as I used to. The path of the sage is about not getting caught up in the external world and coming back to your relationship with yourself and relying on that as your source of wisdom from within, rather than giving your power or validation to others. The journey of the sage is that others are meant to see you as a role model, but you must be the first person to see yourself that way in order for that to happen. You will always feel insecure whenever you're placing too much focus on what others are doing and thinking. But when you feel settled in yourself and tune out the noise, you'll reestablish that connection to your natural wisdom. This wisdom is helpful, of course, for your own life, but it's also imperative for the way that you'll be guiding, sharing, and showing up for others. As long as you create time and space to hear what you already know, you will naturally be seen as someone who others look up to for guidance and wisdom. When the 4 and the 6 come together. In your tribe of people, you're usually the central figure, influencing, directing, and organizing everybody else. You're often holding court without even trying, and you may find that social situations revolve around you. In this way, you foster togetherness, which is an important value to you. Family and friends are everything to you. When you're doing it with the right consciousness, being the king or queen of your circle is a good thing, as it allows you to spread what you came here to spread, which is your warmth, magnanimity, and wisdom. The world has told you that you have to do things with your head, but your big strength is your huge heart, and directing people with your heart is very different to controlling them with your head. In fact, your main job in life is to open up the heart because that's where your wisdom comes from. This can be tricky for you because you're so good at controlling things using your head. And opening the heart is scary to you because you love people so much that you're terrified of rejection. It's only when you actually show this big heart and vulnerability that people will love you actually even more for it. But when you're disconnected from your heart or pretend you don't have it, you may find yourself judging, pushing away, ignoring, or rejecting others before they can reject you. One of the main lessons you're here to learn is that you don't need to have such a tight grip on things for situations to work out well and in your favor. As much as you are this director figure, you need to equally learn that you can trust and rely on others as well, and you'll never be able to see what others can do for you if you're always the one insisting on doing everything. For as long as you insist on doing everything, this will only confirm your fears that you can't fully trust or rely on other people. This tight grip can cause mental exhaustion and anxiety. The only way out of this is to quit masterminding everything and just to let life happen. The only way you can really trust life is to try letting go and see that it supports you anyway. The more evidence you build up of life sorting itself out, the more you will trust. And then you'll be free to just be that regal authority figure from a place of joy and sharing your gifts, rather than any misplaced fears or need for control. 4/6s often try to control people because they don't trust that everything will work out okay if they don't. Even though you're born wise, the first 30 years of your life is still full of ups and downs, mostly to do with people. Those relationships are your lessons in life. The main thing you have to make sure you don't do is let those experiences close down your heart for fear of failure and being hurt. Once you hit your Saturn return at around age 28 to 30, if you've gleaned wisdom from your experiences, your life will be able to settle down a little. Look back on those experiences with appreciation and thanks, and that will help keep your heart open. Be aware that just because you're right about most things, it doesn't mean that you're right about everything. It's okay to look to others for guidance sometimes. Your regal air is natural to you, and there's nothing you have to do to get it, so relax into it. You don't need to overperform, seek attention, or hide from attention. You are here to balance the wisdom of your head with the wisdom of your heart, and when you do, you crack us open in hearts and minds too in whatever you do. Your strategy is the way you make things happen in your life, how you go about making your dream life real, how you manifest. The world has taught us that we have to push and force things to happen, but you have a unique way of drawing your dreams to you that will feel much more easeful and fun. Plus, it will actually get you so much quicker results when you do it because you're doing it in the way that you're meant to be doing it. Your strategy is responding. The universe is constantly sending you clues and signs of what to do based on what excites you, gives you that full body yes, and what doesn't. Responding is about only doing things that come across your path that you can literally feel that full body yes to. When something is meant for you, your gut will literally respond to it. You will feel physically drawn to that thing. Think of life as one big buffet. It's full of ideas and suggestions and options that might please you. Responding is noticing all the things you see and come across that make you think, I like that, or I want that, or I wish I could have that. And if you do like it and want it, say yes to it. Go do it, create it for yourself, bring more of it into your life, because doing it is what the universe wants you to do next. These could be direct, like opportunities and invites that come your way, or indirect, like things you see around you, things you see other people doing, what you see on social media, or characters on TV shows. They're all there on purpose to lead you right to your purpose. The answers are all around you. You don't have to figure out what you want. It's the outside world that will give you the clues of what you're into or not, based on how you respond to it. You're not meant to just know what you want out of thin air. You have to have an outside stimulus to respond to. You don't have to push, force, or make it happen. You just have to fully throw your energy into the things that your gut responds to and not do the things that don't. And when you're open, the universe will put the things that are meant for you right in front of your eyes. The key to your dream life is not only saying yes to things that light you up, but also saying no to things that don't. When you say no to the things that don't, you actually create more space for the potential yeses to come in. Your decisions are black and white. It's important for you to know that your gut is black and white. It doesn't do gray area. So for you, you're either excited about it or you're not. Unless you feel a full body yes, the answer is actually no. You do not deal in maybes. Because the gut is black and white, it also doesn't deal in open-ended questions. So if you've asked yourself before, what lights me up? Don't be surprised if your gut hasn't come up with the answer. But if you ask yourself, does forecasting light me up? Does event planning light me up? Does organization light me up? You'll definitely know the answer to that. You can use the this or that, yes or no questions to direct you with anything in life, whether big or small. So instead of asking yourself what takeout you feel for dinner tonight, ask yourself if you want sushi or Mexican. The more you can make sure that everything in your life is there because it gives you that hell yes response, the more aligned you become. The universe makes you respond yes to the things it wants you to do. The universe doesn't see the difference between you saying yes to the takeout that lights you up and yes to the job that lights you up. Following your lit upness will always create more lit upness. What to do when it feels like life isn't sending you things to respond to. Take a look around your life and ask if each thing in it lights you up or not. If it doesn't, start by just being honest with yourself about it, as that will align you to the truth of how you feel. And from there, the universe is clear on your feelings, so it can swoop in and start to help you by putting new opportunities and clues on your path. The more you get rid of around you that doesn't light you up, the more space you will have to notice things that might. It's like you give yourself a bigger pair of glasses with which to see. And then start to look around at whatever else is going on in the world around you and keep asking your gut, would this be exciting to you if you had it? And then pursue those wants. Put energy into bringing them into your own life. If you get a hell yes, you have full permission to funnel all your life force into it. Always trust the feeling of wanting as a good thing because it's pointing you right towards the life you're supposed to have. Your sign is the feeling you have when you're living your design. It's a no-fail way that the universe can signal to you that you're on the right track. When you're using your energy correctly, you will always feel your sign come up in your life. So you never have to do any guesswork to know whether you're in alignment or not. Your sign will be there to show you. Your sign is satisfaction. Satisfaction is feeling lit up by life. This is that feeling you get when you're living a full life, one where each day is filled with things that please you, big and small, that you have consciously chosen. Like your perfect coffee in the morning, the buzz in your work life, a warm cuddle with your loved ones, the tennis game that makes you feel alive, and the good kind of crazy days that make you feel invigorated. When you string these moments together where you feel so content in each, you get to the end of your day and you can't help but let out like a good kind of satisfied sigh. One that means you've used your energy up in a good way today. It brought back some awesome returns and you're fully ready to check out, hit the pillow, and be so psyched to do it all over again tomorrow. The not self is the feeling we get whenever we're not living our design. Life gives you this not self feeling so that you can always tell when you're getting off track, so that you can then redirect quickly back to using your energy the way that you're meant to. Your not self is frustration. If you're living your design, saying yes to things that light you up and no to the things that don't, you create a steady flow of excitement in your life, which then magnetizes people and opportunities to you. The opposite of energy flowing is energy stagnating. This creates a feeling of being stuck and not being able to move forward in things even if you try. This is the true definition of frustration: attempting or reaching for something but it not happening. Frustration can show up as literal frustration, or irritation, feeling stuck, feeling uninspired, blah, or incapable. This is always a sign showing you that you have the power to change your situation by changing one of your thoughts or behaviors around this situation. Here's how frustration can look in your thoughts. Nothing is happening. This is not going the way I want. I'm so bored. I'm so over this. I'm being made or forced to do this, but I don't want to. Thinking, I have all these obligations and maybe they're starting to weigh heavy on me. I want to shake them off and be free. I feel like I'm having the life sucked out of me. I'm feeling pulled in all these different directions. It seems like everyone else is doing what they love, but nothing is coming to me, or I can't seem to do that. I should be able to create happiness, but I just can't. I have no energy to do what I dream of. What's the point of all of this? Why does it feel like I'm walking through mud and taking so much effort to get things going? Or simply, I'm just so tired. Remember that this is not your true self. This is your not self, aka life showing you that it's time to live your design a little bit more, which will get you right back into your sign, which is satisfaction. You are here to be lit up and excited by life. This is your real nature, and whenever you see your not self, you can always rise higher into the life you really want to have by turning it around. Non-specific manifesting. Manifesting refers to your way of bringing things you want into your reality. You're designed to manifest in a non-specific way, which is a method that's very new to the world. Traditionally, we tell people to get clear on exactly what they want, down to a T, to make vision boards or to write lists. This style is very much about the person and what the person wants. We get told, if you don't know what you want, you'll never get it. But this is not true for you. You can and are meant to have beautiful things happen in your life without you having asked for them or wanted them specifically. Your work is to have a general idea of what you'd like and then to stay open to how the universe will fill in the details of that manifestation, because they're so much greater than what you could even imagine yourself. So when we say a general idea, let's say you want a career as a journalist. You don't have to know which magazine is your ideal one. You'll be guided to the right one when you leave it to the universe. You just have to point it in the right direction by knowing the essence of what you want. The feeling is more important than the details. So in manifesting that career in journalism, you just have to be clear that you want to work in a place that enables you to feel valued, allows you to write things you want, be filled with people that inspire you, etc., whatever that is. You're getting clear on the core essence of the thing you want rather than worrying about how it has to look. Sure, you can manifest specific things, but have you ever worked to get something you thought you really wanted, but it didn't make you feel how you hoped it would make you feel when you got it? This is just a reminder to focus on the feeling and let the universe send you the exact thing that will make you feel that way. Resist the world pressuring you to have your vision all planned out. A lot of non-specifics get pulled out of their natural way of doing things because we live in a world that is always asking us to describe and quantify where we're heading. But you're not supposed to know. You're not meant to have the 5-year plan. The only thing you ever have to do is have the general idea, the general feeling. For you, whenever you get very set on something turning out in a specific way, it's like putting blinders on, which narrows down what can come to you and may shut down the most ideal outcome from coming to you. You're not meant to know what you want in such a detailed and specific way. It's a practice in letting go of control when it comes to your dreams and really understanding that you're not totally in charge. You create your dreams with the universe. You just have to get in touch with what your soul really truly wants. And then instead of trying to figure out how it will unfold, stay open to being surprised and delighted. Every human lifetime has a different theme. Your life theme describes the main energy you're meant to bring into everything you do. It's called a theme because it's meant to run through all the areas of your life. The same mix of skills and essence will bring you success and alignment, whether you're at home, with friends, at work, in the grocery store. When you live according to your life theme, that's when you know you're on the road to your purpose. So as far as the universe is concerned, your purpose isn't just achieved at work. The universe doesn't compartmentalize like that. It wants to see you sharing your specific essence everywhere you go. When you bring your essence to the table, you signal to the universe and to people around you that you're being who you're meant to be. This is when people gravitate towards you the most, when opportunities and synchronicities flood to you, because you're simply being the person you came here to be. So all the good things that are meant for you finally fit. Let's get into the theme of your life. The right angle cross of planning for. To help get your tribe, community, or family where they need to go, whether that's emotionally, spiritually, or physically. You're a master at creating a sense of togetherness and belonging in people, particularly in group settings. It's what you're here to do. Don't underestimate this gift just because it comes easy to you. What people are longing for more than anything in today's world is that feeling of belonging. If we're going to create organizations and institutions that are more aligned with people's well-being in the future, we need you. Whenever you make creating togetherness your intention in any area of life, you will see how powerful its effects are. Whether that's with your family, in opening up a yoga studio, on a movie set, whenever you bring that secret weapon to the table, you will thrive and help people open up to a true feeling of community. Your digestion is what we call closed taste in human design. It's healthy for you to eat the same meals over and over again. This is because you have an older digestive system that's based on when people had no choice but to eat seasonally and locally. So they ate pretty much the same foods every day until the seasons changed. They thrived off having the same breakfast, lunch, and dinner day in and day out, and that's the same for you. So don't listen to the wellness industry that tells you have to include tons of variety to be healthy. That's actually unhealthy for you. If you feel like you want to eat sushi every night of your life, that's your innate digestion speaking to you, so honor it. You don't have to be open to trying new things. You also don't have to try something in order to decide if you're going to like it. You can already tell. You have finely tuned instincts that will tell you what foods are a good fit for you or not, just by looking at them. So trust that mechanism and don't force yourself to be more open to trying new things than you actually are. If you do come across something new and you like it, that's when your daily rotation of foods will change usually, because you'll want that new food again and again. Or you'll change your rotation because you travel somewhere, and with that comes adjusting to certain meals that suit you better in that place. Go with it. This is correct for you. Your eating pattern. Since your brain is passive, it's best for you not to hold on to any fixed timings and schedules. You might want breakfast at 7 a.m. one day and 11 a.m. the next. Go with it. Your brain sometimes isn't ready to take in food, and if you force it to, it will actually end up draining your energy batteries. The more you can pay attention to your hunger cues, the better. And the more you can truly stop eating when you've had enough, even when there's only 3 bites left and you tell yourself you may as well finish it, the better. This is being in a hyper-tuned-in state to your energy pattern for the day, which changes constantly for you. A big component to you thriving is realizing that you weren't built to be consistent. And even though the world tells us that we have to be consistent to be successful, you'll actually have more peace and success when you let yourself flow more. Your strongest sense in human design is inner vision, which means you have the great power of harnessing your imagination. Of all the 6 senses, each one of us has one that's dominant. It's a sense that when heightened makes you feel the most alive. It's kind of like your love language with the rest of the world. Each sense has its own language, and when you speak your language, people receive your gifts the most deeply. It makes whatever you do more effective and valuable. You also absorb the information from the outside the best when you're taking it in through that sense. Inner vision is the only sense that's not derived from the outside world, but from within your mind's eye. With inner vision, your superpower is shaping and molding something in your imagination so clearly that it comes into physical reality in the best way possible. When it comes to your purpose, you're meant to strengthen your imagination and also other people's imagination. Bring an element of visualizing and picturing things to whatever you do. You're the one who's meant to be painting the picture of what the reality could be instead of what it is. This could look many ways, from the creative to the aspirational to the scientific and the corporate. Tell or write stories, or create things that light up other people's imaginations. Connect them to their dreams. Get people to imagine the thing they're working towards. You're the one who's meant to paint the picture of the end result. Whether it's a business plan or an aspirational product or giving a facial, do it in whatever area of life fascinates you. In a position of leadership, you're meant to be the one who holds the vision for others. Since you can so easily do this, don't get frustrated when others can't see future scenarios or dream creations as clearly as you can. This is your gift. They may not be able to hold so strong to where they're headed, but they really value that you are doing it. When you stay in your conviction and beliefs, it helps other people get there faster too. In your personal life, you're meant to spend more time in the conceptual world and are meant to care more about that than reality. You might notice when you spend too much time being realistic, it bogs down your energy. You find it much more inspiring talking about what could be rather than what is. Sometimes this can make you a bit closed off to external aesthetics because what matters most to you is your own power of visualizing and imagining. You spend more time in the ideas world rather than the physical world, and that's not a bad thing. So don't ever feel judged for that. It's actually the key to your power. The more time you spend and the better you get at dreaming and scheming, the more guided you'll feel in life and the fewer questions you'll have about where you're going and what you want to be doing. Setting up your life. You have to make everything a reality in your mind before you do anything about it on the outside world. And the more real and clear you can make it in your own mind, the easier it will be to make it a physical reality. Things will just line up with less effort when you flesh out the vision. So ask yourself, what is your vision? Most of us think we know what we want, but when prompted to describe it, we actually can't tell the full picture. So do whatever helps you see the full picture. That could be a meditation practice, or it could be writing it out in full. It could be visualization or vision boards to bring it to life. You could close your eyes and see it all play out like a movie the exact way you want it to happen. Whatever it is that connects you to your mind's eye, do that. With food. Indulge your imagination when it comes to food. Start to think about the meal you're going to have. Get excited to eat it before you actually eat it. Looking forward to dinner when you just finished lunch is a good thing for you. And when you don't know what you want on a menu, close your eyes and think about what you want. In short, you're a person who's meant to make the non-real real, to bring things that seem impossible or dreamy into reality. It starts with believing more in what your mind can conceive of than anything else on the outside world. How your emotions function. You're what we call an emotional in human design. Being emotional means that your natural state is not cool, calm, and collected like the world tells us is a good thing to be. You're up and you're down and you flow like the ocean and you feel it all. As an emotional, you experience waves of emotions that are unrelated to what's actually going on in your life. You could wake up feeling happy for no reason or sad for no reason, and you're here to learn that actually every wave has a purpose in your life's journey for the better. We're taught to see some emotions as good ones and some as bad ones, but you need both for different seasons and reasons. And the universe is always sending you the right one it needs you to be in this very moment. You don't need a reason for why you feel the way you feel. The world tells us there is always a cause for feeling blue or feeling happy, but for you, that's not usually the case. Sure, if something amazing happens to you, you'll feel happy, but deeper than that, it's like you have this mood playing in the background, kind of like a song that colors the way you'll feel about your life that day. And the biggest trip is, it's not you who has control over what the song will be. It's the universe that's the DJ. It does this to educate you about life as a human being. You need to have a ton of experience in many types of emotions so that you can develop expertise in human feelings, because your specific calling actually requires that of you. Emotions color your life. Have you ever gotten really sad over something one day and woken up the next day thinking, it's actually not as big of a deal as I thought it was? Or were you ever in such a good mood and received an offer that you said yes to, only to realize later that you're not actually that excited about it as you were at the time? This is the emotional wave. When the universe is playing happy songs in you, you're more likely to see your present moment as better than it is. And when there's a bluesy song in the background, you'll see things as worse than they are. Before you feel daunted, I'll tell you the reason why being an emotional is a good thing. Because how we feel, our inner experience of life, is what gives life color. It's from emotion that the most epic songs have been written. It's from sadness that we connect to other people's pain the most profoundly. It's from joy that we feel the most grateful to be alive. You're here to experience and feel them all, to experience the full spectrum of human emotion and to share the side effects of that with others. When you do, you help us develop our understanding of the human experience. You generate compassion and empathy and reverence of the other in embracing exactly how you feel right now and going with it. Making decisions. Since you have emotional intuition, remember that you're meant to wait until you're in a pretty neutral state and then revisit the decision and see how it makes you feel from that neutral place. So often, the reason why the universe will give you a low or a high mood is because it's trying to tell you not to make a decision at that time. It's trying to realign you with divine timing. And whenever you're in a high or a low is actually the sign that now is not the time to decide. It's a sign to feel and be and breathe and create and enjoy. Your emotions are your gifts to others. It's really interesting because roughly half the world is emotional like you and the other half is non-emotional. Non-emotionals are people who only feel something when a situation or person around them has sparked them to feel that way. The emotionals like you are here to spark emotions in the non-emotionals and make the world more interesting and colorful by putting feeling into everything they do and say. In doing so, they light up the hearts of others and foster connection between human beings. Sadly, they are usually afraid to do that because we've been conditioned to see emotions as weak or silly. But we're living in a time where we desperately need the emotionals to be honest about where they're at, without shame, because it's only through them that we'll create a new paradigm where how people feel is front and center of the conversation.